Okay, Warriors fans, this video is being recorded as the second day of the draft is happening. A lot happened yesterday in terms of free agents getting paid. And those free agents were people we talked about the Warriors could target to make this team better. In addition, only a couple hours ago, Warriors traded the 52nd pick in the draft for a backup reserve from OKC. So we're going to break down everything that's happened so far. What do we know? Klay Thompson, Paul George, Chris Paul, and give you an update. Because after today is over, when this draft is over, it's going to get wild. Ish will hit the fan. And you know, Warriors Digest here, we're going to keep you up to date on free agency starting in a couple days. Summer League and so much more. Klay here. Yes, no. Paul George coming? Maybe. We're going to find out. Warriors Digest will keep you up to date. 14% of you are subscribed and get these updates daily. If you're not, I would love you to subscribe. Helps grow the reach of Warriors Digest so people find us, and make sure you get notified when new videos drop daily. All right, let's get into it. So off-season updates. Again, it's been a wild 48 hours in the NBA. How does it affect the Warriors? That's the mindset of this video. So as I mentioned, Lindy Waters III is now a Golden State Warrior. Traded for the 52nd pick, our only pick in the draft. I just put out a video about that a couple hours ago about it. If you haven't seen it, it's being linked below. It's put there. Check it out. I dive all into Waters, who he is. Long story short, sharpshooter, who is a third string, fourth string player in OKC. Doesn't get a lot of playing time. They have a very strong team. They just drafted 2 guards, so he basically is falling off the depth chart. Gives us more depth. Warriors plan to keep Waters, guarantee his contract for $2 million. And what this means, it's a fringe move. It should not affect anything that may happen on the big side with potentially Paul George coming in, any big trade, Klay Thompson, things like that. $2 million in our salary cap isn't a lot. Again, when we go right here, 74. Add 2,176,000. You're still below that first apron, so you're paying a little bit, but not hitting a significant penalty. What else is happening? Again, GP2 has opted into his deal. We have guaranteed Looney's deal. So right now we're at that 174. This weekend we'll know about Chris Paul. Yes or no, what's happening? Klay Thompson, free agency. What's going to happen there? So a small piece is played. Don't think that this is the end of the Warriors. By far, there's no way this is the end of anything they're doing this offseason. This was just getting a player at the 52nd pick. You either get a prospect who is a backup player, backup player, two-way player, G League player, or you get someone who you already know has played in college, had a couple seasons in NBA, and you think can get the job done as a backup player here on the Warriors. So they're going with someone they think is a bit more proven versus unproven coming from the draft. What is up? June 24th, we talked about this. What are the Warriors going to do with Klay Thompson? They want to re-sign him. Mike Dunleavy Jr. has said they want to re-sign him. But the power is in Klay's hands. He can accept the deal. He can walk away. Also, again, with the Chris Paul deal, $30 million non-guaranteed. We even talked about this. If they bring him back at $30 million, you're still at the 174. If they let him walk, you're at 144. You got room to spend. But to get a player like Paul George, where the rumors are, and apparently it's heating up, you have to even out the money. That's because the Warriors have been in the apron tax for the past couple years. That means that you can't trade for someone and take back more salary. It's basically got to match. Paul George, if he opts into his deal, $49 million. So that means we have to match $49 million. To do that, Chris Paul has to be in there when you look at this. $30 million, and you can do Wiggins for 26. It basically makes that happen. Now, will the Clippers take Wiggins and Paul? Probably not. That'd be a bad trade. You'd have to give up 1, 2, 3 potentially first-round picks. Or they let Chris Paul walk, and then it's Wiggins, and then they've been talking about potentially Kuminga, but that's only $35 million, so you got to find another like 8, 9 more. Maybe GP2 has to go then. Kevon Looney and draft picks. So there's just some scenario there. But that Chris Paul $30 million coming in, if that happens, expect it to be a trade piece most likely. And we just talked about what's happening with Paul George. Clippers have been negotiating with him, hasn't been going the way that they would hope. He's trying to find a deal bigger than Kawhi Leonard, which is around $50 million a year. 3 years, $153 million. So basically $51 million a year at that point. James Harden's a free agent too. He won't do anything until Paul George. So this scenario affects the Warriors potentially. If we get the trade, what happens, and other dominoes in the NBA. Again, on Get Up, Chris Paul, we talked about $30 million. So this is the next day. Thompson's looking for not 2, 3-year deal, at least. Magic supposedly will not give him 3. They only give him 2. Supposedly Warriors only give him 2. For Klay, it's not about the money, even though it says he may get between $20 and $30 million, which I think close to 20 is fair. $30 million would be crazy. It's the respect factor of getting that money. And some other players we're about to talk about got the money, which Klay may be saying, yo, why are they getting money? I should too. One of those players, OG Anunoby. He's re-signing with the Knicks. This doesn't say right here it'll come up, but he opted out of his deal and he got paid fat. It's going to come up in a second. Again, Klay Thompson right here. Bobby Marks, $20 million, $25 million. Paul George, apparently, potentially Philly. Not anymore because he wants to stay on the West Coast near his family. Mikal Bridges. This was the big domino that started. Traded to the Knicks for not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 unprotected first-round picks. Plus a couple other picks in there. That's a benchmark. And I'll say this, Mikal Bridges had multiple years left on his deal. But if Mikal Bridges in that type of trade is worth 4 unprotected first-round picks, what is Paul George worth? What is Trae Young worth? Not that I think we should get Trae Young, but I'm just saying other stars in this league. What about Karl Anthony Towns? He's still in his prime, upper 20s. 4, 5 first-round picks? We saw Rudy Gobert was 5 first-round picks. So a lot of first-round picks are needed to get stars. Warriors have some draft capital. We can get rid, I think it was 3 when I remember correctly. We made the video. But is that going to help you now, or is it only going to put you in more dire situation moving forward? Dallas was talked about as a situation for Klay. They apparently want to trade Tim Hardaway Jr., who did not get a lot of playing time with the Mavs this postseason, especially in the finals. He's owed $16.2 million in his final 4-year deal. So maybe Dallas was like, hey, you know what? We just lost the Celtics. We need something more. We need someone with championship pedigree to help us get over the top. Kyrie's got it. Who else could give it to us? Klay Thompson. Maybe they can do this. Hey, Klay, take a 2-3-year deal, $15-20 million a year. You can go to Dallas if you want that. And then we'll take back Tim Hardaway Jr. Has 1 year left. And so what does that mean for us? That $16 million would come in here. So say Chris Paul's gone, and $16 million puts you at $160, 44 plus 16. But then 2025, it's open, and you still have money to go big game hunting next year. And of course, salary cap will go up with the new media deal. So we talked about Nets and Bridges. We talked about Dallas. And then this was the deal. OG Anunoby, 5-year, $212 million with the Knicks. Basically $41 million a year. Actually, it's like 44, excuse me. And they played really well with him. You could tell in the playoffs when he wasn't playing, he was hurt. Unfortunately, missed the back half of the season. Things of that nature. Tried to come back, just wasn't the same. So that sets the market for free agents. If he's getting that max, supermax type of deal. And then Nick Claxton, 4-year, $100 million, $25 million per year. And we talked about Nick coming to the Warriors. It would be big to have him at center. Him and TJD would have made a tandem. Woo! It would have been good. But folks, it's not happening. It's not happening because he's staying with Brooklyn. But that, again, sets the market of who are we going to try to get then? Who's the other center potentially we can get that would be really helpful? Hardstein from the Knicks, free agent. Because Hardstein wants his bag as well, and he deserved it. Look at how he did. 8 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and he was really big in those playoffs. The Knicks really don't have much salary to give him what he wants. Nick Claxton, again, 4 years, $25 million per year, $100 million total. Hardstein, I feel like, is probably $80, $90 million. There's not a lot of quality centers on the list right now, free agents, so could push it up a bit. But With Clay, we're not going to get him. With Chris Paul, we're not going to get him. So if those two people are gone, so if we don't take Chris Paul's thing and contract, and we're like, hey Clay, we're not giving you more than $15 million, expect us to go hunting for a center like that, because that could really help us, and we have the salary per year to make that happen. Other people on the list: Jonas Valanciunas. And we know how much he killed us when we played him. He'd be big. Andre Drummond, Gaga Bitadze, and Nick Richards. I think Valanciunas would be massive for the Warriors. Can come off the bench. Rim protector, blocks, physical presence will deter people from coming in the paint. And that is what we need. TJD is more of a athletic big man in terms of, around the paint, hustle, whatnot. We need someone like Bogut back in the day, stalwart inside, just drop it to him, and we'll be physical force, and we haven't had that in a while. And that's why I think, hey, if you don't get one of those big centers, you can do this. And it comes down to, what will be salary? Are we staying through the aprons here? So, again, this is being recorded June 27th. This is the update. Again, hopefully something, or maybe, who knows, something breaks during this, but I don't think so, as the draft is basically 10 minutes away from starting. But we do know the Warriors' 52nd pick is gone from this draft. We're now taking in Lindy Waters III, and we're going to see what happens coming up. So this is keeping you up to date. Warriors Land, Randy Silver here. Comment your thoughts, let me know. And, of course, subscribe to Warriors Digest so you don't miss anything that's coming in Warriors Land. We're coming thick and fast. 'Tis the season.